Welcome back. I'm Martin, and today I would like to present you source code from Emergence Audio. They went back to the beginning, sampling a very basic analog oscillator, you know, the sine wave, the triangle, the sawtooth and that stuff, which at first look might sound a little bit boring, but as they placed it in their wonderful infinite motion engine, you will see a lot of things that you can do afterwards. I suggest we quickly listen to something that I came up with, and I really had fun with this. And then I will talk a little bit about that instrument, and then I will go a little bit into that infinite motion engine and the possibilities that it gives you. Then I did something a little different. I took the infinite steel tongue, an instrument that I really like. It's warm and it's gritty, and I just combined it with an Analog Dreamscape multi from source code. And let's listen to this. I love the sound. Everything you heard was really from source code. There haven't been any, you can see it here, external effects or anything, and the only thing I placed underneath was just a little bit oomph, 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 four to the floor from the drummer of Logic. But let's talk about the source code. If you open up the instrument, one thing which is pretty neat, if you click on that little triangle, you can click here on quick guide, and you have right away the manual at your fingertips if you're looking for tips or tricks or would like to dive deeper into that engine. And then you do have here the init instrument, which is the one I loaded up here, where you have some snapshots, you know, the correlated ones where you do have that sawtooth or the square or the triangle. You do have here even then the infinite pads, pretty cool pads. We will go through some of them a little later. Apart from that init instrument, you even have here the keys and the leads, and the leads are something pretty cool, and I will show you why. This is so 80s. I really like it. If you have a keyboard that has an XY joystick like most Korg keyboards have, then you have the possibility whilst you play not only to pitch the sound, but even to drive up the mod wheel to get, in this case, the pitch oscillated for that vibrato. Pretty nice. Apart from that lead, you can see there are 11 leads that you can choose from, different sounds. This one, for example, on the effects page, you can see there is a lot of convolution reverb dialed in. You have the possibility to choose from all those reverbs that there are, and they are a lot. You do have the delay, but I will talk about that engine a little bit later, what these pages do. And what did I do here on this track? Nothing. Just a little bit of bass. Then I had the melody played with another lead where I have some delay on it. Here you can see. I really like to play with this joystick. That's so... You see? Nice, 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 nice. There is another lead. Here, for example, I did something on the second track. Let's listen only to that lead. And watch here what's going on. I automated the panning. So this lead goes from the left to the right. That's one thing that you can do, as you know, right click and then learn MIDI-CC automation. And in this case, I just assigned the very same knob to both of these sources, because if you're on the main page of every Emergence audio instrument, you always have the two channels that you can choose the sound from that you would like to have on channel A or on channel B, and then you have the volume and the panning of those and the ADSR and that stuff. We will talk a little bit about it. Let's just continue here. What else did I do here? It's just another of those lead sounds, and as I said before, they are 11 of those leads. Then there are even the pulses. The pulses are quite interesting, because you would say, how can a sinus wave or whatever analog oscillator wave pulse? They did it in a very clever way. They did it or by, in this case, using the engine to automate the cutoff filter. We have another pulse here, and here, for example, they did something quite clever, but because they were simply automating the fader between those two layers. You see, going from source A to source B, if I switch off this one, then you understand what's happening. It's this one, that one, this one, that one. I switch this one back on, and in this engine here you do have the rate. Here you do have the depth. You see how this knob moves always more, and then obviously for every single parameter you do have even here the possibility to say, okay, I want the 100% amplitude of the main engine, but this parameter I don't want to have it oscillating 100%, maybe only, you know, here 19%, or very, very interesting, that engine, very, very interesting. So we went through the pulses. Another thing that there is the keys. Very plucky sounds, and they just did it by working with the ADSR, you know, the attack, the decay, the sustain, and the release. And even here, if we play a little bit with the attack, the release. Even here, very nice. You can link the two channels, or you can treat them separately as you prefer, or you link them and then you see you move on the one side, the other side is moving the very same. Before we go into the multis, I would like to show you quickly this beautiful, beautiful pad. Which was simply realized by blending between the two sounds, having a very long attack time, a very long release time, having a bunch of convolution reverb on it. You see, the possibilities are endless. And now if we go into the multis, there we can talk about that engine and how it works. And you can learn a lot from those multis, and I will show you how. Those are interesting sounds. Oh, I think I didn't tell you, this library costs $29, and it's for the free Contact player. Well done, Emergence Audio, a free Contact player for $29. And the next pad is called Infinity Brush. this one quite interesting. We go to Time Travelers, and then we go to my favorite one. This is the Time Travelers. And for example, you say in this one, what is doing the pop, 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 pop? Simply switch off one source after the other. Sooner or later you will find it. There it is. It's this one. So what is this one doing? You see, they have an array with the 16th notes, the low pass and the high pass filter and the resonance animated, and here they go simply for the pitch. They go up with the pitch, so this is what this effect is creating. That's so easy. If you really just go for these sounds and then see what exactly is going on there and how do they get those results. Yeah, Analog Dreamscape. Let's get to this one, which is really a wonderful, wonderful. And let's talk a little bit about that engine and what you can do. As I said, if we switch off, for example, here, or we just unload some of them, no. So we remain with one, then we can see a little bit what you can do. So let's talk a little bit about the Infinite Motion engine and what you can do with all those faders. As I said a little bit at the beginning, you have always two channels on the left side, on the right side, that you can switch on or switch off, and you can choose which sound you would like to have in that channel. You do have the ADSR, which you can link, so whatever you do on one side happens on the other side, or you just treat them separately. You do have the volume for channel A and for channel B. You do have here the fader between channel A and channel B, and then here you do have the high pass filter, the low pass filter. Even here you can link them, so whatever you do on one side happens even on the other side, or you treat them separately. You do have the resonance and the panning, the expression. And obviously every parameter that there is, you just right click, learn MIDI CC automation, and then you put it to whatever knob or fader or MIDI controller you have. But in this Infinite Motion engine, you have the possibility to switch on a low frequency oscillator, which you can sync to the tempo of your DAW. And this is pretty neat. Here you set the rate. At the moment it is quite a low rate. It is set to 4 bars. You can set this for, let's say, 4th, which is quicker, and then here you have the overall depth of that oscillator. And let's say we would like to automate the panning between the two sound sources. We switch this one on and it goes between the one and the other 100%. But here you have the possibility to say that this one shouldn't oscillate that much, but only a little bit. Or for example, the pitching of that sound. If you want that one automated the same, you just switch it on and you see it goes 100%. If you don't want that, you just lower that amount here. And even this is quite interesting if you need an eerie sound, you know, something horror movie, something like this. Absolutely nice. The same goes for the cutoff filter, for the resonance, for the panning. You can automate the panning. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You see now, this one goes 100%, this one only goes a 14%. That engine is some kind of genius. I really like it. And then yes, there's the effects page. You do have the convolution, reverb, as we said before. You have all those reverbs to choose from. Then the dry, the setting, the phaser, the distortion, even the distortion. You can automate it if you want. Huh? Here you switch it on, and here you set the amount in which it should be moving. I guess you get the idea of how many cool things you can do. You have a delay, even this one you can sync. The overall width. I hope I could show you how interesting these Emergence audio libraries are in general, because you really get this engine for all of the libraries, and they by now have pretty a lot of libraries to offer. That's quite interesting. And even source code, which is really based on very basic, sounds, is an interesting instrument, a really interesting instrument. And that's it from my side for today. Thanks for being with me. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet and you like things like this and tutorials and that stuff, then yeah, just do me a favor, hit that little subscribe button. And I suggest, if you would like to see another video of mine talking about Emergence audio, then just watch my video about the Infinite Steel Tank. One of my maybe favorite libraries, because it's slightly different from all the wonderful natural textural things they did, like the violin and the cello and the soprano. Yeah, I like the Steel Tank a lot. See you in the next video or on the next live stream. Make good music always. Bye bye. It's set to 4 bars. That's really evolving over a long time. Oh, I do have a guest here. That's the nice side. If you live on the countryside, then you have those animals once in a while.